Welcome to Cheater Confessions. Let's get started with today's story. When Alicia told me she'd be in New York for a week, I didn't blink. "It's Sonia's cousin's wedding," she said, waving her phone casually while tossing clothes into a half-open suitcase. "Big thing, black tie, lots of events. I'll be gone until Sunday." "Sounds busy," I answered, leaning against the doorway. "Need me to drop you at the airport?" She smiled too quickly. "Yeah, that'd help. Early flight." At first, I let it go. But over the next few days, I noticed the shifts. A new silk dress, tags still hanging, a fresh manicure, even though she always complained that salons were a waste. Then came the late nights, the way her phone never left her hand. The screen flipped down on the table, passcode changed. She laughed at something once, caught my eyes, and went silent. I played dumb. I've learned people reveal more when you don't chase. The break came when she left her tablet charging on the counter. Notifications rolled in, syncing automatically. I didn't have to search. Messages just kept lighting up the screen. Caleb Morgan. The name hit hard. Her ex. The one she swore was ancient history. He was engaged now, I knew that much. His fiancée, Jessica Lynn, had posted their engagement shots all over social media last month. Big Manhattan ceremony coming up. I scrolled. "Can't wait to see you in the city," Alicia wrote. "Jessica thinks I'm tied up with work all week." "We'll have plenty of time," he replied. "Booked the hotel. Room next to yours, just like old times." I screenshotted everything, chats, boarding passes, and a hotel confirmation near Central Park. Then I forwarded the screenshots to myself, deleted the originals from her device, and wiped the message previews clean. If she checked, she wouldn't suspect I'd seen a thing. That night, Alicia hummed while packing. "It'll be fun," she said. "Sonia and I never get enough time together." I kissed her forehead, drove her to the terminal at dawn, and watched her vanish through security. She thought she was flying off to a secret. I already knew the truth. The drive back from the airport was quiet. I kept thinking about Jessica Lynn, a woman preparing to walk into a marriage built on lies. If roles were reversed, I'd want someone to warn me. By the time I pulled into the garage, I had a plan. I sat at my desk and opened the folder of screenshots. Messages between Alicia and Caleb stretched back 2 months. They joked, reminisced, whispered promises about what if. One message from him read, "Jessica doesn't excite me the way you do." Another from her, "You'll know once we're alone in New York." I bundled everything into a clean album. Screenshots, hotel booking, her flight confirmation. Evidence, layered and undeniable. Then I made it simple to access. Password-protected album with a plain title, "Read Before Saturday." I generated a QR code and printed it onto thick white cardstock. On the back, I wrote, "Please view this privately before your ceremony. You deserve honesty." Someone who thinks you should know. I didn't sign my name. This wasn't about me. The next step was delivery. I called a local courier service, paid extra for a discreet same-day handoff, and gave strict instructions. Deliver sealed envelope, require signature, take a photo of receipt. 2 hours later, a confirmation pinged my email, signed for J. Lynn. The envelope had reached her hands. I closed the laptop, opened a bottle of beer, and set my phone face down on the counter. Whatever came next was no longer in my control. Alicia was in New York, thinking she was clever. Caleb was likely rehearsing for a wedding he didn't want. Jessica had the truth in her hand. And me? I was just waiting for the blast radius to spread. The first call came just after 9 that night. 10 minutes later, my phone buzzed again. Voicemail, then another. All Alicia. I let them pile up, listening only when the 5th came through. Her voice was high, strained. "Tony, you've ruined everything. Jessica got something. Pictures? I don't even know what. Caleb's parents are screaming. Do you know what you've done? You've humiliated people. For what? Because you're jealous? Because you're petty? Call me back." Another voicemail, angrier. "We weren't even doing anything. We were just talking. You're insane. You're sick. Do you enjoy destroying people's lives?" I poured another drink. Let it ring again. By midnight, the pressure mounted. My phone buzzed nonstop, screen lighting up the room. Finally, I answered. "Alicia," I said. Her words spilled fast. "Tony, listen. This is not what you think. Caleb and I, he's just a friend, okay? We needed closure. That's it." "Closure comes with adjoining hotel rooms?" I asked. Silence. Then, You went through my tablet? That's a violation of privacy. And lying to me for weeks isn't? You don't understand the situation. Then explain it. Her voice dropped. He's marrying Jessica for business reasons. He doesn't really love her. He reached out because he needed me. And you needed him too. Another silence. Then she snapped, You didn't have to blow up their wedding. That was cruel. Vindictive. I took a slow breath. I didn't blow anything up. I just handed the bride the truth. What she did with it was her choice. On the other end, I heard her breathing hard, like she'd run out of words. Then the line went dead. The call came the next morning. Unknown. New York number. I almost ignored it, but something in me said answer. Is this Tony? The voice was steady, measured. Yes. This is Jessica Lynn. I sat up. Jessica. Don't apologize, she cut in. I just want to know how long it's been happening. Direct, no hesitation. I respected that. From what I saw, I said carefully, 2 months, maybe longer. They've been meeting behind your back. The hotel booking wasn't the first sign. She was quiet for a moment, then said, I suspected something. He's been distant for weeks, but hearing it confirmed, it stings. I'm sorry, I said, keeping my tone even. I figured you'd want to know before vows were exchanged. You figured right, Jessica replied. The ceremony's off. I've already called the vendors. My parents are upset, his family's furious, but I'd rather deal with fallout now than a lifetime of dishonesty. Her calm rattled me more than Alicia's screaming. There was no denial, no panic, just resolve. One more thing, Tony, she said. Get yourself tested. If Alicia's been lying this easily, don't assume she's been careful. The words hit harder than I expected. I rubbed a hand over my face. Yeah, thanks for the advice. For what it's worth, she added, you did the right thing. Brutal timing, but right. Don't let her convince you otherwise. I nodded, even though she couldn't see. Take care of yourself, Jessica. You too. She hung up. I set the phone down and stared at the wall. Alicia had called me insane, vindictive, and controlling. But Jessica? She saw it for what it was, a warning delivered before it was too late. For the first time since I'd opened that tablet, I felt something like relief. Alicia came back sooner than expected. 3 days after Jessica's call, I heard a knock that turned into pounding. When I opened the door, Alicia stood there with her brother, Victor Reeves, and another woman I recognized from her office, Naomi Chen. Alicia's face was blotchy, eyes were swollen from crying. Victor's jaw was set like he was ready for a fight. You changed the locks? Alicia snapped. Wednesday, I said. Didn't want uninvited guests walking in. This is my home. I live here, she shot back. Lived, I corrected. Victor stepped forward, broad shoulders filling the doorway. You can't just throw her out. That's illegal. She has rights. I handed him an envelope. Notice of termination, dated, copies of payments for storage. Everything's legal. Her things are in Unit 421 on 5th. Here's the key. Naomi, holding her phone like she was documenting everything, spoke softly. Tony, maybe you two should talk inside. Work this out like adults. No thanks, I said. She stared at me, hands trembling. You can't just erase me like this. You erased us when you got on that plane, I said flatly. Victor raised his voice. You're humiliating her. After everything she's done for you. Everything she's done? I cut him off. She lied about where she was going, who she was with, and how long it had been going on. I'm not covering for her anymore. Naomi glanced between us, uneasy. Maybe we should... Don't, Alicia snapped at her. He wants to look like some noble hero. He's not. He's spiteful. He wanted to ruin a wedding just to punish me. I shook my head. No, Alicia. I didn't ruin anything. Caleb ruined it the moment he tried to have you on the side while promising Jessica forever. All I did was stop the lie before it went further. Victor glared, but I could see the cracks. Naomi shifted her weight, already looking for an exit. The hallway standoff ended with Victor muttering threats about lawyers and Naomi hurrying toward the elevator. I shut the door behind them and leaned against it. The next morning, my phone lit up with notifications from the payment app we'd used to split bills. Requests rolled in one after another. $850 for moving expenses, $300 for emotional damage, $1,200 for rent reimbursement, and $150 for therapy. Each came with a note attached, dripping with sarcasm or accusation. I declined them all, adding brief replies. Your choice, your responsibility, not mine. By the third request, I'd had enough. I opened my banking app and pulled records. 6 months of rent payments showed the truth. Our apartment cost $2,600 a month. Alicia had been sending me $700, sometimes less, while claiming she was covering half. I'd been paying nearly $2,000 every month, thinking she was building her freelance design business. The numbers told the story. Her business was smoke. Vacant invoices, empty promises, long lunches disguised as client meetings. She hadn't been a partner, she'd been a dependent. That evening she tried again with a text. You know this isn't fair. I invested so much into us. I deserve something back. You invested lies. That's all you put in, I typed back. She didn't reply, but her social media flared to life. Selfies with captions about healing journeys, motivational quotes about toxic men, filtered brunch photos with Sonia tagged in the corner. No mention of Caleb, no mention of New York, just curated innocence for her followers. Meanwhile, I was cutting ties, closed our joint streaming account, changed utilities to my name only. Alicia had played her hand, but she underestimated how quiet and thorough I could be when it came to drawing a line. She wanted money, sympathy, and validation. I gave her none of it. A week later, I got an email from Caleb Morgan himself. The subject line, "You didn't have to do this." His message ran long, paragraph after paragraph about how I had misinterpreted things, how his bond with Alicia was special, how I had destroyed something beautiful between them. I read it once, then typed one line in reply. If it was beautiful, why were you marrying Jessica? I hit send and closed the thread. He never wrote back. The ripple effect showed up everywhere. Jessica issued a short statement online. The wedding was canceled. Guests were welcome to a brunch before heading home. Photos surfaced of her with her parents, composed and steady despite the chaos. Victor called next, trying to bargain. Tony, listen, Alicia's in a tough spot. She can't keep paying for storage. Extend the deadline a little, at least until she gets back on her feet. The unit's paid through the month, I said. After that, it's her bill, not mine. You're cold, man. No, I told him. I'm finished being her safety net. He hung up without another word. The apartment felt bigger than before, cleaner, quiet. For the first time in weeks, I felt like I was in control again, not chasing lies, not second-guessing late-night texts. Alicia had wanted New York to be her secret playground. Instead, it became the stage for her downfall, and I was done playing her supporting role. 3 weeks passed before I heard from Jessica again. A short text, nothing flowery. Thank you. I called it off for good. Kept your note. It's a reminder to trust myself. Wishing you better things. I stared at it for a long time. No bitterness, no drama, just clarity. Alicia tried one last time, late on a Tuesday night. Tony, can we talk? Just talk. I didn't answer. The storage lease had already been transferred to her name. Her boxes were no longer my responsibility. Instead, I ordered Thai food, the kind Alicia used to wrinkle her nose at, and turned up the game. Place felt new, not because I'd moved, but because all the lies had been cleared out with her luggage. For months, Alicia had said she was building something with her freelance work, with me, with her future. But what she built were illusions, an image for friends online, a safety net at home, and a secret plan in New York with Caleb. She thought she could play every side and still walk down the aisle at someone else's wedding like nothing was wrong. But that illusion cracked the second I slipped the envelope into Jessica's hands. My phone pinged one last time. A payment request from Alicia. $25. Dinner since you left me with nothing. I declined it, added a note. You still have everything you chose. Live with it. Then I blocked her. I leaned back on the couch, took a long sip from my drink, and thought about the moment she stood in our kitchen, suitcase open, telling me, I'm going to a wedding in New York for a week. Back then, she thought I was the fool. Now she was the one locked out, untethered, exposed. The truth had cost her a fantasy, a plan, and a home. It had given me something else, peace. And once you strip the lies away, peace is worth more than anything she ever promised. Thank you for watching.